Hello, and welcome to your MES lesson. I'm Claire. Today, you're going to learn the what, the how, and the when of asking possessive who plus be questions. Let's start with what. What are these questions used for? Who questions are used to ask about people. For example, if you want to ask about one person, who's your doctor? If you want to ask about more than one person, who are your doctors? We use possessive questions to ask about ownership. For example, my tailor, or my tailors. Your best friend, or your best friends. Good. Now let's learn how. How do you use these questions? First, know how to conjugate who plus be present. If you want to ask about one person, please repeat, who is. We often use this contraction. Please repeat, whose. If you want to ask about two people or more, who are. Let's review the possessive pronouns without the question word. We'll use the noun neighbor as an example. Remember, add an S after plural nouns. Please repeat after me. For one thing, my neighbor. For more than one, my neighbors. Good, let's continue. Your neighbor, your neighbors, his neighbor, his neighbors, her neighbor, her neighbors, our neighbor, our neighbors, their neighbor, their neighbors. It's very important to memorize these conjugations fluently before you start practicing Video B. Next, study your vocabulary. For example, who's your boss? Your hairdresser? Your significant other? Finally, to build a more specific question, you can use an adjective. For example, who's your best employee? Your worst employee? Your stupidest employee? And prepositional phrases. For example, who's your employee of the month? On the register? In a jam? So finally, when do you use these questions? You use them to find out more about people. For example, who's your dentist? Who's your idol? Who's your manager? Excellent! Now let's review. First, what are possessive who plus be questions used for? They are used to ask about people or ownership. Second, how do we use these questions? You use them by knowing the conjugation of who plus be present and building a more specific question with the vocabulary. Third, when do you use these questions? You use them to learn more about people. Well done! Let's move on to Video B to really practice making your own questions. Remember to keep on reviewing your vocabulary. I'm Claire, and I'll see you back here soon.